Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Kimberly Fernandez, a Manikin tutor at EA Dental Academy. In today's demonstration, I'll guide you through the steps to prepare a tooth for a ceramic labial veneer. To begin, I've created a putty index and sectioned it through the middle of the tooth of interest, the upper left one. This index ensures a precise fit with no gaps and helps us verify reductions throughout the procedure. Here's an illustration of what our final veneer preparation should look like. It will have an incisal reduction of 1.5 mm. The labial surface will be reduced between 0.5 and 0.7 mm, divided into two planes, an incisal half and a cervical half. Finally, we'll create a chamfer margin positioned 1 mm above the gingival margin. This is the tooth we'll be preparing, and the burr I'll be using is the 170L 2-striper blue diamond burr. I'll also ensure a good fit of the putty index before we begin. For stability, I'll be using a conventional finger rest on the incisal surface of the adjacent teeth, the upper right 2 and 3. I will be holding my handpiece in a pen grasp. We'll start the incisal surface by creating two depth grooves. I'm positioning my handpiece perpendicular to the long axis of the tooth and placing the first depth groove. The width of the burr is 1 mm, and I'll be using this as a rough guide for my depth by submerging the burr completely in relation to the incisal edge. I will measure the depth using a Williams probe. So far, we've achieved around 1 mm. I'll deepen the groove slightly to go beyond 1 mm as we need room for finishing and polishing later. Next, I'll create a second depth groove about 3 to 4 mm away. Extend these grooves slightly beyond 1 mm, allowing for finishing and polishing later to achieve the final 1.5 mm reduction. Remove the tooth structure between the depth grooves to create a uniform reduction. We'll now proceed to extend our incisal reduction towards the distal side and leave a thin enamel margin behind. Likewise, we're going to do the same on the mesial side. We're now going to use a band of matrix and wedge it between the distal contact. This will help us protect the adjacent tooth from damage as we remove the remaining tooth structure. Gently extend the burr towards the distal surface until you hit the matrix band. Now, we'll wedge the opposite side and repeat the same step. Once we've achieved this, I'm going to very gently run my burr over the incisal surface to ensure we have a uniform reduction. Here, we're placing a putty and checking that we've achieved our desired reduction. Let's now proceed to the labial surface. The labial surface is divided into two planes. The incisal half where we'll tilt the burr slightly to reproduce the natural convexity of the tooth, and the cervical half, where the burr is held parallel to the long axis. I'll start with the incisal half, reducing the surface from the contact area towards the center of the tooth. I'm following the natural contour to achieve a smooth, uniform reduction. Next, I'll move to the distal margin, reducing it towards the center. Once the incisal half is reduced, I'll place the putty index to check the depth. Now I'll proceed with the cervical half. Using the Williams probe, I'll mark 1 mm above the gingival margin. This will help us visualize the 1 mm supragingival margin. For this step, I'll start with the depth groove in the center of the cervical half. Then I'll reduce the tooth structure from the center towards the mesial side. And finally, from the distal margin towards the center. Remember to keep your burr parallel to the long axis of the tooth at all times. I'm demonstrating with the Williams probe the margin that we've achieved. I'm going to use my putty to check if we've achieved our desired reduction. For the final finishing, I'll switch to the 767 yellow diamond burr. This burr is excellent for this purpose. I'll use it gently on the incisal surface, removing any sharp edges. Then I'll move to the labial surface, being careful to avoid the finish line that we've created, and proceed to smoothen this part. Now, let's check the preparation. I'll place the putty index one last time to confirm that we've achieved even reduction across all surfaces. And there you have it, a complete preparation for a ceramic label veneer.